This is Cliff Evans with Carroll Rosenbloom, owner of the world champion Baltimore Colts, pinch hitting for Bill Stern. Carroll Rosenbloom, the headlines tell us about Johnny Unitas and the Michi and Big Daddy, but you're the number one man behind the scenes. Now, as owner of the champion Baltimore Colts, what is your area of responsibility?
Well, Cliff, I think that my responsibility is the same as a chief executive's responsibility in any company that he might head. My job is to see that the wheels turn smoothly, that each man does his job, and that particularly everyone associated with the organization remains happy.
Well, what do you mean by happy? Is that important as far as a player is concerned? Doesn't a player have strength and speed and efficiency without being happy?
Well, Cliff, to my way of thinking and the way that we have always operated in the Colts and the way we will continue to operate, we believe that the most important thing is for our players to be happy, that there are many things to play for, but they must have an incentive over and above the value of their paychecks.
Well, Carroll Rosenbloom, you've given tangible evidence that you're an owner of a sports organization who has the future of his players at heart. I'm referring to such specific items that you have given bonuses without being obliged to. You have arranged jobs for your players between seasons without being obliged to, and other considerations like that. Why do you do this?
Well, Cliff, we do these things in building a team. Not alone are we completely selfish. We believe, number one, that if the players have a future, they're going to play better. And by a future, I mean that the life of a professional football player is short. When I came into the league, one of the things that I intended to do was to see that every player that played for the Colts, when he was through with professional football, would have a future in a business of his own if he chose, or certainly in a profession that he could make a good living.
Is pro football a business, or is it a matter of glamour?
Well, Cliff, it is both. It is a business with most of the people in the league because this is a means of earning their livelihood. But over and above that...
Well, to you, Carroll Rosenbloom, is it a business or a matter of glamour?
Well, speaking to me particularly, it is not a matter of business, Cliff. These things follow. The Colts have become world champions twice. We've worked hard to do it. We've been fortunate along the way. However, in building a team, we have selfish motives also.
Carroll Rosenbloom, the Baltimore Colts are not the team that they were last year nor the year before. Now, are they getting old, or what's wrong?
Well, Cliff, I take it for granted that when you say they're not as good as they were before, that this is your own opinion. Certainly, this is not my opinion. I think that our games to date have been better played than our first 5 games of last year. God, I got it.
All right, let's retake that.
You didn't want to.
Okay. This is a retake. Carroll Rosenbloom, your Baltimore Colts are not as good a team as they were last year. As a matter of fact, I don't think they're as good as they were 2 years ago. How do you explain that?
Well, Cliff, I take it for granted that when you say the Colts are not as good as they were 2 years ago, that this is your own opinion, and I am certain that you have many sports people who concur in this feeling. However, this is not my feeling. Believe me, I think that we are just as good as we were, possibly a little better. You must bear in mind that when you are the champions, every team you play points for you, and it is necessary that we be up every Sunday. Now, I think that the season will prove that the Colts are just as good. Certainly, we're going to die trying.
Is pro football all business?
No, Cliff. Professional football is not all business. There are many heartaches, and, of course, there are many rewards. With me, certainly it is not a matter of business alone, although our franchise has grown greatly in value because of the fortunate success we have had. However, with me... as you probably have heard, I eat my heart out with every game. And probably as long as I am in professional football, I will continue to do the same.
Carroll Rosenbloom, when you're watching the Colts on the field, as a fan, I'm sure there are occasions when you second-guess the coach. We all do that. Now, as owner of the Colts, do you express your football theory to your coach?
Cliff, my feeling is that we go out and we find the best coach available. We feel we have done this when we brought Eubank to Baltimore. Now, Weeb is going to make mistakes just like all of us. I don't second-guess him. I expect him to win with what he has and to give him everything that it takes to win. If he isn't successful, for reasons that might be his fault, we would probably find another coach. But I think Weeb does a great job and that he will continue to do so.
You've given evidence of being more than merely an owner of a pro football team. I refer to things like securing jobs for players between seasons. I refer to giving bonuses to players when there wasn't any compelling need to do so, when you were not forced to do so. Why do you do these things?
Cliff, we do these things because it is my personal belief that a happy ball player is the best ball player. We want these boys to have a future when they leave professional football, and we do everything in the world we can towards this end.
Thank you, Carroll Rosenbloom. This is Cliff Evans reporting. Thank you, Carroll Rosenbloom. This is Cliff Evans reporting. Now back to Monitor at Radio Central.